Have you ever heard of business being compared to a game of golf? Here's an interesting take business coach Kevin Stansfield shares with us today. Why business coaching for you? Why did you become a business coach?
I sort of fell into it. I mean, it's 18 odd years ago now, so it's dim, distant sort of memory. But I was in finance, so I was a chartered accountant. Went into practice, then went into industry. Grew a number of very large businesses with teams of people, and then they got so big that they became for me, a bit dull and less interesting. They weren't as dynamic as they were when they were going through that growth phase. And I think I'd spent so many years building businesses and we sort of made it up as we went along. We had no real training. We'd done it a few times, but you just learn through making mistakes and trying harder. And I wanted to go and find out how to build a business. What were the things that we need to learn? So I went to university to do my MBA, my Master of Business, and that sort of helped, but probably asked more questions than it gave answers, because the MBA came very much from a big corporate. So when you're running a big corporate, this is what you do. But there was nothing in that. How do you take a small business into becoming a big business? A lot of things still weren't sort of there. And I read an article on another accountant who'd become a business coach, and business coaching and how it was different to accountancy and consultancy. And I thought, that sounds interesting, because I love sport. So the idea of being a good athlete and want to be a better athlete, you go and find a coach. So I just thought, well, if you're a good business person, you want to be a better business person, then go and find a coach. And so I went to see Brad speak, Brad Sugar speak in 2015 now. So when he was young and, had an attitude, now he's old and has an attitude. And he just sort of, the 6 steps, the 5 ways, these things just really resonated with me. And I could just see how impactful they would be for small businesses. And I just then at that moment decided that's what I wanted to be. I'd never heard of business coaching before, but it was new. It was sort of exciting. I really felt there was a need for it in the marketplace, and that's why I joined ActionCOACH, and been here ever since.
Kevin, tell me, what are the key differences when you think about business owners that are at that middle level versus the masters, and as an example, that have mastered the game of business or mastered the game of golf? What are the key sort of habits that you see are the difference? Because, you've got to be a master in golf. That requires a lot of discipline and patience, right?
Yeah, I mean, the attributes are very, very similar. If you look at top athletes, and say I choose golf because I love it, but in any sport, the commitment to winning the game is key to it. Is understanding. The difference really within sport is understanding the game is very easy. Most sport games are very, very simple. You know what the outcome is. So if you're in golf and you want to win the PGA Championship, if you want to win an Open, you want to win the Masters, that's there. It's very easy to understand what winning looks like, and you can assess your ranking against everybody else. In business, that isn't as easy. It's very, very difficult to understand how well you're doing. Am I doing well? Am I winning my game? Am I losing my game? Am I just static in my game? So that's really where, within business, you have to set your own goals. You have to set what winning is for you. And winning isn't all about making money. It's not just about profit. A business is a vehicle to get you what you want in life. So if it's getting you what you want, then you can class yourself as being successful. But you have to be honest with yourself. A lot of people aim for here, achieve here, and then they bring their goals down to the level that they are, and they start to think that actually, this is success. Well, okay, if it is, then great. If you're honest with yourself and you're happy where you are and your lifestyle is good, then who are we to question that your business should be bigger and better, if it's achieving what you want. if you ask yourself that question truthfully and the answer is, it could be better, I could be doing better than this, then you need to sort of start to think, okay, so is what I'm doing going to get me better results? And most of the time, people are doing what they've always done and they're getting what they've always got. So learning new stuff, trying different things, and sometimes, we find as coaches, all we're doing is encouraging them to carry on doing what they're doing, because that is the way to do it. But because you've got no outside reference, it's not like a game of golf where you're playing against somebody else and you can say, oh, well, you can hit the ball further than I can hit it, or you can chip better than I can chip it. You're very much in your own bubble, so you don't really get that external feedback that you need to improve.
You mentioned systems and teams. Is that in any particular order, or what comes first? If someone is sort of sitting at that crossroads of whether they scale this business or whether they walk away, what would you recommend they do first?
I suppose it's that whole thing where you're starting from. If it's just you on your own, then you're probably going to have to just go and get some people. Okay, because you could sit and write the whole process down, but you won't have the time to do that unless you've got people doing some of the work. So these things, it's the chicken and the egg, which comes first. I think it sort of doesn't matter as long as they come together and reasonably quickly. But my view generally from where I've seen it work is you go and find the people. Yeah, you write the systems. The people then follow the systems. Yeah, if the people don't follow the systems, and some of them you'll find out can't follow the systems, or you just recruited the wrong people, you have to replace the people who then come in and they're new, and then they will follow the system. The problem with getting your existing people who have been doing it their own way to try and then get them to change, that's tough. That's like you coming to me with your golf swing, yeah, and me having to then, I've got to basically break this golf swing down and train you in a new way to swing the ball. It can be done, but it's hard work and it needs the cooperation of that individual to do it. And some individuals are more than happy to do that, but sometimes you find people just don't fit. And the challenge often is those people are often good people, they're getting good results, but they're not able to make that transition into the bigger business. Because the other thing from a corporate side, a bigger business, corporate mentality is different to small business mentality. So the people that get you to here aren't always going to be the people that get you to here. And you see that even at top level, Steve Jobs, when, he built Apple and then was sacked from the board of Apple. Elon Musk within the businesses, they're great at the firefighting and, being involved in everything. But when it comes to actually running a system,
hats off to you for committing to your learning by listening to this podcast. And if you'd like some help implementing some of these strategies, then click the link in the description to find your local action coach. They can help you put these strategies into action and take your business and your life to the next level. In the meantime, like and subscribe so that you're the first to get our next episode. We'll see you soon.